basically the way that we're going to handle this pod is we're just going to be pitching things, so people are really going to get a sense of how things start from like the ground level, how you can bounce things off of, a creative partner, and we're going to see where this takes us. So I'm just going to quickly like catch people up to speed. We're trying to come up with a very low budget horror feature, where essentially we're really interested in social commentary stuff. We love The Purge. We love Get Out. We love the idea of.
May I side note too?
Please go ahead.
Jacob has done a ton of movies up until this point, all good horror movies, and we're saying, hey, we want this to be something that has even more weight to it. What are the movies that actually break out in the horror thing and end up doing really well? A lot of times that's because in addition to being just scary, if they're just scary, that's a huge feat. But maybe sometimes it's a stylistic component. Maybe sometimes it's that it has a social commentary like Get Out and or The Purge in an extreme example of saying that like, hey, what if everyone in society feels all this pent up rage? What if one night of the year everyone got to go out there and wreak havoc with no rules or anything? And I think in the same sense, I just had the idea. Now we're getting into it. There's no such thing as bad ideas when you're just throwing stuff out here on the first one. But there's this thing about the medical industry. People do say it needs to be revamped, as a lot of industries do. But there's this catch-22 that hospitals make more money with you in the beds than they do with people being healthy. So maybe that's a false incentive set up. Now, obviously, the government comes into play with regulation when it comes to sometimes those types of things need to be kind of countered and balanced out. But it's not always a straightforward give and take. So what if there was something about like if we did, and it's dark, but like
Let's go there, bro.
an
No,
extreme demonstration of like a hospital that breaks bad and they're not doing and
that's
uh,
making people sicker.
that yeah, that's making people
I
sicker.
like I've always wanted to do something about like sickness is really fascinating to me. Like, because here's the thing, bro, and everyone says this, it's a cliche, but like health is the number one thing, right? It's true.
And
Everything else goes away if your health isn't in check.
of your
So
health.
I've seen films about where they're kind of touching on this. A Cure for Wellness did it. There was this one movie by Cronenberg's son. I haven't seen it, but the concept is, in order to get close with a celebrity of your choice, you inject yourself with like the sickness that they currently have, which is really fucking weird.
Oh, no, something like that's kind of cool though. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we can also touch on like the whole celebrity thing too. That might be a
That
interesting
might
touch.
be a hook.
Like something that I've always wanted to do, and this might be like too expensive for what we're thinking, but like, everyone wants fame nowadays, like for no reason. Like everyone just wants attention. Like we want more and more attention. And like, but if you really think about it, if you were to snap your fingers and suddenly you're the most famous person on the planet and you leave your apartment or whatever and you're fucking surrounded by people, there might be something interesting in that. I also want to bring up one more thing. When we're talking about hospitals and sickness and stuff, we hide away our old people. We don't want to think, because they remind us of like our inevitable death. And so as a society, we've like intentionally put them away, tucked them away in these nursing homes and all these like hospitals and facilities and stuff. There might be something to that.
Yeah, that's interesting as well. And in fact, there was a thriller with Peter Dinklage about nursing homes or whatever that got taken. I guess that was slightly different. Did you see that? No.
No.
Interesting. It was successful. It was on Netflix. I forgot what it was called. Anyway, sorry, my roommates are going at it.
You like the ambiance. Does any of that like hit,
Jump
or
out.
what are you thinking? Or are you still, do you want to go with the hospital stuff as of now?
So the other stuff, it's a start.
I want to point out
Hospitals.
too
Yeah.
the facade thing. That's something I love. I know you love it too.
Yeah.
So keeping with that, it's like the whole Stepford Wives thing.
Yes. 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 Um, I want to go more into some of like let's test some ideas out that would be adjacent to the purge. Um,
You know, speaking of the Purge, I'm keep jumping in, but
Yep.
speaking of the Purge, um, dude, it's really interesting. We are animals. There's an animalistic type thing. If you go back even to like, ancient Greece or ancient Roman shit, it was way more permissible to just like kill people. Like, I think there's something in us that's still like, you get like pissed off at someone or whatever. That was the whole hook for a Purge. It's like, what if I could get away with like just one?
I feel like it's too surprising to people when they see on Dateline and 2020 and stuff that like people just snap, and there's
Mm,
not always a paper trail to like why they did it and stuff. It's like they just
yeah.
got pushed too far, and I don't think it's talked about enough.
And one of my favorite docs of all time was about this guy. I'm trying to think of the name. Basically, the wife he murdered his wife and two kids, two young girls, and it came out of nowhere. He was just like a quiet guy, and all of a sudden, and all of it was like documented of how good of a father he was and all this stuff. But one day he like had an affair with this woman, and he wanted to just get rid of his family, and he just snapped. There's also that guy who like speared his kids crossing over to Mexico because he believed in like the lizard people and like the whole like QAnon and like all that conspiracy shit.
Right, Hillary Clinton's lizard,
What?
that old conspiracy.
That she's a lizard?
Yeah,
First time I heard it, but
yeah, that's a big
it's
one.
the whole movie on that, bro.
This is Hillary Clinton lizard
Get the
society.
biggest defamation lawsuit of all time.
Exactly.
That'd be horrible.
It gets big. No publicity is bad publicity.
Not true.
Um, we digress. What was I gonna say
But the
on?
Purge, we're talking about the Purge.
Yep.
What Purge do you like?
I like the idea, like you said, of tapping into the whole like animalistic instinct. So let's think of different industries and how like, well, what if the worst thing you could possibly think happened, but it's very satisfying. So that like maybe people think about, but
What
in
about like a culinary industry? There could be something there about, I don't know.
and then you just did that, yeah. But yeah,
Menu was great. That's
yeah.
true. That was more
No,
than,
but that shouldn't cross that. That shouldn't cross it off. But I'm just saying, yeah, they did it.
I mean, do you know what's kind of interesting, bro? Those like at-home chefs, they have their like shows. There was a whole like Paula Deen thing, that like sweet old woman who ended up being super racist. There could be something there.
Yeah, yeah. I don't love the cooking thing.
That's fine. What other industries are you thinking?
Or there could be a purge. Um,
What about
law. I was thinking law off the top of my head.
thinking
Um,
what?
law teaching. Teaching's ironic.
Teaching's interesting. There's also fitness.
Yeah, a little. I want to do something that's a little bit more like esteemed, so it's more ironic when they snap, you know. But
Right.
then again, like I don't know, that's just a thought. Yeah, fitness. No, you're right. Maybe I had the wrong. I was just thinking of like a bimbo trainer or something. But what if it was like a fitness guru that was secretly like poisoning people?
Dude, he starts a movement.
Yep. Whoa.
Actually, bro, there's an idea. Bro, I think you're gonna really dig this. I had this idea for something like a while ago that fits into this thing of the whole facade, the movement, the fitness thing, and it's social commentary a bit. Yeah, but basically, it's like Soul Cycle and that
Yep.
whole like fucking hype around it, and all the people are there doing thing.
I
If
like it.
Are you a cycler?
I haven't done it, but I can imagine. I like that it's like spirited. Like you have to like compete against, work against yourself. Yeah.
But if you think about it, like if there's some kind of leader that's actually making people emaciated, like really unhealthy, if you follow their program, you are actually becoming like really anorexic. We could also take it kind of a supernatural angle or
What
something.
if something just hit me? What if we do a similar setup of like the boyfriend and girlfriend are dating? They go to meet the girl's parents, and they're like fitness gurus, and the parents try to test stuff out on the boy, and they say like, "Hey, can we test stuff out on you?" And it like seems super legit and stuff, but it's actually like toxic.
Yeah, I
That's
think that's interesting, but the like it's not as macro, you know what I mean? It's not it's that's more like isolated basically. And we can
that's
do
true, but
that.
that's not necessarily bad.
No, no, it isn't. It isn't. It's just a different angle.
But
Um,
I no, no, I agree. It actually, yeah, we are trying to think like purge style though. Well, by the way, side note, we watched Luther 2 nights ago, the movie Luther,
hmm.
which is from TV show. Now they did a movie on Idris Elba as a detective, and it was sick. It was like True Detective, but in England, but pretty pretty slasher, like torture porny, unfortunately, like strangely. But I feel like you might dig it. Is all that very like heavy music like from True Detective? You see True Detective?
A little bit.
Yeah. Do you recall like that kind of really
Yeah.
ambient, moody? First of all, maybe we should use some tones like that music wise and tonally how it's shot. We were talking about we're gonna look to stuff like, dude, that stuff is beautiful and like really dark and like kind of like the Revenant a little bit.
Bro, totally. We're gonna be stacked with visuals before we
Dude,
shoot this thing. I think,
yes.
bro,
Appreciate
something
it.
I want to bring up is like we're like as of now, we're still thinking like the same characters from the last script that we did. But I want
Right.
to point out though, like here's the thing, bro. We still use all the same actors, right? But something I want to point out is you were so fucking good in Red Dress. And that character pulling that out of you of like this, bro, I saw like a fucking dark side, man. Cause I know, like, obviously you can play like the ingenue, like you come on and you're like, whatever, like, you know, but I think it's way more interesting. We've talked about this, it's less one dimensional. If you're more of like the American Psycho kind of like there's something there. And so I think you could be in charge of this bigger movement and we could maybe have like a couple of girls and really go into that thing where they're like, yes, like let's go, like we're doing
I'm
this.
in.
Like, the
I would
whole
love to do that. I would love to do that. Yeah. That's a great reminder. Oh my gosh. I would love that. You're so
okay,
right. I should use this to like freaking rebrand myself in
yeah,
that way.
bro, 100%.
Great opportunity.
It's the best rebrander. Like if we actually get a feature out and you're this other character, that trumps
Yep.
everything.
It trumps everything. No, great point. Thank you. Well, okay. What if I was the leader of like this fitness thing? Uh,
And you're really like fucking people up. The question is because I really want to lean into the horror of stuff. There's something that I've always wanted to do when it comes to emaciated stuff. Wherein, bro, there's this visual that I've had where it's like this woman who's, you know, becoming like skinnier and all this stuff. And she looks in the mirror and she sees like a very anorexic, really like hyper skinny version of herself that like moves differently. It's like a different like entity separate of her. Maybe you could be involved in something like that, but maybe that's too supernatural for what we're going for.
I like where your head's at. I know that stuff. Because that'll bring out the horror of it is when you have a shocking visual eventually. I think it needs to go there. But yeah, I think let's keep thinking that way. I think it is tough when it goes extreme in that area with low budget like that to make it fully believable. I mean, you've done
Yeah.
it on short films, but um
But you want to keep it more grounded, like this could actually happen.
yeah, a little bit of both. But don't get me wrong, like I do want to think like, hey, how can we make this shocking and kind of borderline like
You could even, bro, it could you could drive people to like self-mutilation. That could be the horror in it. They could be like destroying themselves to fit this program.
maybe that's like the commentary is like, oh, what fitness is doing these days, but nothing's jumping out at me though of things that are like reasonable. Like, how can you suck these people in to do that? Is there anything like that modern day?
Dude, here's the thing. If you're a charismatic personality and you're like, this is and everything's organized and you get people hyped, like, bro, you can convince, like, look at all the people. We're talking about cults. You
Yeah,
like cults. we can basically make this a cult. Like the whole thing of Heaven's Gate. Like, bro, you can literally, those people, I don't know if you've seen that doc, but these people, before they had like the mass suicide and they killed themselves, they like, all the guys like cut off their balls, like they castrated themselves to make themselves look more like aliens and like less like a gender. Like, people can be swayed, bro, and that could be the horror in this. And not like, if you're put in a certain position, any human can be swayed to do some crazy shit.
That's great. All right. I mean, maybe we just do something like that. Like he's a cult leader.
I mean, only if you're into that. We can also pivot. I also want to bring your mom and Jimmy into the conversation,
Oh
as
yeah.
well as Laura. Laura would be easy in this case. She could be like the main protagonist, she could be following this like 10-step program that you have. Maybe she can finally, if you move yourself up high enough, like Scientology or whatever, you could meet the leader. Maybe she's like really like killing it and she's like at the top of, she's gotten all the
Dude, I
points.
love this. I love this. So it's a commentary on 10-step stuff. And I'm not even I like AA and stuff, but it could be like a Scientology thing.
Okay.
That sounds
So
like a bigger cast, but yeah, I don't know.
so if Laura is like the head of that makes these characters easy. Let's talk about your mom and Jimmy.
My mom or Jimmy can be one of the like head teachers at the program.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
I can even see myself being on TV or something at the beginning when Laura like first finds out about it and sees me in like a video
Yeah.
being like Scientology. Curious at all, you know?
Yeah. Like with the fitness element, right?
Yeah. Or whatever we want to make it. Now I'm kind of
Well, let's think about it if it's not fitness. Um like what would, bro, I sent you that thing and I told you you'd be fucking perfect for it from
I mean,
Guillermo
honestly.
from
What?
Guillermo's series on Netflix. That one guy who did the aloe glow thing where he's like, aloe glow is the perfect blend of like, do you remember that video that I sent you? It's with what's his face? Um
Oh yeah.
Stevens.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yo, Autumn, what is the aloe glow guy's name? Thanks, Dan Stevens.
Wow, that was a quick response. Thank you.
I always have it on hand.
There we go. Well
But
done.
but yeah, dude, there's that Dan Stevens character that like you could be doing a promotional thing.
All right, I'm gonna look that up again. 100%.
But let's think about, yeah, look up Dan Stevens aloe glow. It could be we could lean heavy into that. And it could be a skin product. They kind of did it with that short, but we could come up with a different angle if you like that. Like care.
What?
Like, do you think you're more into like fitness angle or skincare, or is there something else that we could do?
Well, all right. Something that just crossed my mind. I have two ideas. One just crossed my mind about how branding is so big these days. And like South Park just did a thing making fun of like how everyone is cares about like what people see their Instagram brand as and defining them. That's one thing. And so maybe he could be like a self-help guy that's like, I can make your brand amazing.
Dude, what if I'm hearing you, but talking about brands, what if it's like a value mentality type thing, but gone like crazy?
That's what I'm saying. I was thinking like Mad Happy. You know Mad Happy, right?
That's Biebs, right?
Similar. No, it's not that one.
Oh, this
Maybe
is
he's
another
done that.
happy thing.
Yeah, it is. Dude, I've told you about them before because their branding is like good for value mentality, but it's supposed to be a self-help clothing brand, and it's like clearly the self-help thing is such a ploy.
I like the self-help angle, and it doesn't even have to be clothing.
I like the self-help angle too. It's so topical.
Dude, because here's the thing. When I was growing up, I was like all about Tony Robbins. I'm like, fuck yeah, like this guy's fucking great. One day
Okay.
my dad was like, you do know, like he charges like 10K for these people to fly out and like just talks in front of them for like a few hours or whatever. Like there's a lot about that that's a little like I think the things he says are like cool and stuff, but you can't just hear something and automatically like your life is changed, you know?
Yeah, people have a bad feeling about a lot of the like prosperity people like that. But I, like you said, like at the end of the day, I think you never know. You never know. And it goes back with shady ministers too. But I think good comes from those people. But anyway, yeah.
It does, but we were just talking about the bad, right? So like
Yeah.
if you and it could be self-help, it could be like, you know, you could it could be a religious thing. Like you could have seen a vision and you're talking about it, but it's all bullshit or something. But I
Oh, that
yeah,
was basically the other thing. Yeah. There's like these and I love Christian principles and everything very much so. But some of these young Christian ministers now are like super like hip. Like they wear like clear glasses and they like do cocaine and stuff. And they're like just partying with Justin Bieber and stuff and getting in all sorts of trouble. They're like tatted, have sleeves. I don't know. Not to hate on them, but I think there's something that could be made fun of with that. Yeah.
but so which of these angles, if not something else, are you most excited about playing? You know, because I feel like the common thread that we're getting here is like it's some kind of cultish type thing. It's like a movement. It could be called no, that's like a Nathan Fielder episode. Something like the movement could be the title. But like, what do you think?
The movement's not bad, dude. Movement's not a bad time. I love the idea of she coming in and has to work her way up this 10-step program.
Yeah,
But it's like a lifestyle. I kind of like a hipster lifestyle brand. And yeah, you come in, you're part of Value Mentality or something, and it goes
some
really well.
kind of like juice, like very specific juice, but it could be slowly killing you.
Or like in the sense that paleo food, like it's all protein all the time, and like probably who knows the effects, like it's probably helping people, but something like that that's like very extreme that like people are already starting to see like bad side effects. Something like that. I know that's not an answer, but
Maybe it's some kind of injection that you put into you like every day.
and we
Dude,
want
there's some kind of injection that people take and like it keeps you from getting fat, but you're literally like sticking a needle in you every single day.
well, that's another thing. Yeah, that's not a bad one. Like, what if we come up with something that sounds too good to be true and it turns out that it's too good to be true? Like some invention that like they have an invention that not maybe not fat, but like it makes you cool. It somehow makes you cool, like makes you more confident. And we've been working with scientists, it makes you more confident.
I
That's
like
not bad. That's not bad at all.
you could play a version of that Valley Mentality commercial.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I'd be like White Goodman, like, and then that'll make it fun when I do the turn and I like freak out.
You freak out. Like, oh yeah, because you're totally cool. You're this super charismatic guy. And you could be like, everyone hasn't understood like what charisma is, but we finally like bottled it up or we figured
Yeah.
out what it is. It,
Dude, I love that. That is interesting
okay, cool.
because I think so much of that stuff is bullshit anyway.
It is. But dude, you know, you always hear about how like Tom Cruise or Bill Clinton, when you're with them, they always make you feel like you're the only person in the room. And
And
like,
I want to show like the commentators on the side, like it could be my mom or something as the one of the head teachers or one of the head people that works there. Just like, oh my gosh, you're gonna love meeting him. I mean, I could tell you have such a great presence, but when you really meet, Richard for the first time, your life will change. Your heart will skip a beat. He's just so charismatic.
my question is, can Laura play like Laura's already really fucking charismatic. Can she play the opposite?
I think so. She did in your short, right? Where she's just like kind of trepidatious, like on
Dude,
edge.
totally.
Yeah.
Bro. She could totally play both sides.
Yeah. Or she's like kind of unsure. I want to see her as the audience's eyes. It's kind of like, well, life is kind of tough and I'm getting through it. And if I had a little bit of this confidence serum, like that would change everything.
Yeah. And do you like charisma more than confidence?
I don't have a particularly strong
Okay.
feeling for one way or the
I
other.
think I kind of dig charisma because I feel like it's more elusive. It's more like, what is charisma? Like,
Charisma's big. You're right.
you know?
And X Factor. So like the pitch video could be like, you've always wanted all these things: star quality, X Factor, charisma, and then even show a clip from Austin Powers, Mojo, baby.
Yeah. The more of this, I like thinking of it as like a drink. What do you
I do
think?
too, for some reason.
Do you like drink more than like a cream?
Cream. I like I like that it's a drink, but we're working on a cream as well. And they come to me testing the cream.
Version 2 is a cream. um, I mean, the name Charisma Cream is, what do you think?
Charisma cream. It's definitely yeah, it could be fun. And I think they're like a startup, and it's got like a cult following in Venice.
Yeah.
This is also a commentary on like tech startups that like have a board of trustees, and like they have all these people and stuff, and they're getting big, and they're living this like hippy dippy life because they have all this money and no rules.
Here's a question though. And do you have to dip in 2 minutes or do you want to hop on?
I I do have some stuff I'd like to
That's
get to.
fine.
So I said,
The question is, and I can figure this out on my own too, but like the question is, what is the reverse side? What is the negative thing that it does to you over time?
it's a good
So that's
question.
just something to think about. But again, I can just take that.
Dude, I'm down to keep meeting like this though too, to like come up further.
Totally, bro. The thing is, I even have time tomorrow morning to come up with, again, like just like a prelim outline. I can shoot your way. You can let me know what you think. We can throw the whole thing out the window. It's chill.
No, I'm easy. I love that you're down for that. That's fantastic, man.
Yeah, dude. I think we're getting somewhere because, dude, imagine how many, like, especially when you're in like high school and you don't really know what, or middle school, you don't really know what the fuck's going on. You're super like, you're just not confident. And if you could just drink this thing, bro, every motherfucker would be doing that.
I love showing that too, showing like how the kids get talked into it and stuff, and it's doing well. There's potential here for sure, and it's got to be creepy at the beginning. And I think the tone of it is going to matter a lot to like how it is,
Yeah.
to why it's horror. But
But it's like the slow degradation of the thing. Again, we're talking about the surface and then what's behind the mask.
yes.
And I'm gonna think about Jimmy and how we can fit him in here.
Well, he
Oh, dude, Jimmy could just be, he could just start the program, maybe.
and I'm the face of it, but Jimmy's the actual like scientist behind it or something.
Oh, that could be cool. I was thinking of him as like a participant, but either works.
Jimmy gets sucked into I because I'm thinking of it as kind of like a young thing. I don't know, but I'm not married to that either.
Yo, dude, we're about to get kicked off, but this is a
Sweet.
good start.
Great start.
I'm stoked about this, bro.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's an interesting story already. All right, brother. Dude, we accomplished a lot right here.
Hell yeah, bro. I'll start working on this thing. I'll send you what I got. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, man. Fired up.
Bro.
Let's do
Bye.
it.